Hello, welcome again to Basic Library Searching. In this virtual program, I'm going to cover a few things that that you can do with the library, within using mostly the St. Louis County Library website, and using our catalog, our new catalog. One of the reasons I've revisited this class is I wanted to learn the catalog myself a little bit, and by teaching it, I will be learning it. Um, So want to know, just want to make sure that everybody can hear me. If you can't hear me, or if you think I'm talking too fast, or if you have questions as I'm going through something, please respond in the chat. I'm going to type a message in the chat right now, and just to see where that chat pops up for you all if you don't have it there. Now in Zoom, you have the option to raise your hand. Feel free to do that. I just don't respond as quickly to raised hands, just for how I'm set up here. So it's always best to just go in the chat. I basically check the chat every few minutes, and then answer the questions there. So. So I should be sharing the screen. Hopefully everybody sees what is a screen that says Basic Library Searching, and has a gentleman at a card catalog that's pulled from the Library of Congress site. Um, I assume everybody's pretty comfortable with computers and with the mouse and interfacing with the screen. But I'm going to go over a few things right now. I'm going to actually switch the switch here. I'm going to show a few things. I have a Chrome browser up right now, and I'm going to show everybody a few things just about what a browser looks like. So when I use certain languages, certain language with a browser, we'll be able to kind of share in the same thing across the top. Close out my bookmarks so you don't see what I'm looking at. Well, anyways, across the top here, everybody should see that is what's called our URL. That's where you type in web pages. So you can type in a web page such as the St. Louis County Library webpage, which is slcl.org. You can type that directly in there. For most browsers, they're typically set up to allow you to use to search for like something like keywords and doing something that would be a popular search engine. Different browsers have different default search engines. The default search engine on Chrome is usually set to Google. So if you do a search for a name in the URL bar, any modern updated browser will do some smart things and want to know your location and other things like that, but will do searches for you and do other kinds of like suggestions. And so it will also lead you, if you just search St. Louis County Library, it will lead you to the losing my notes, to probably your most preferred search. Depending on the search engine, what you have out, leads you to various different things. So here we can see gets us to our the St. Louis County Library homepage, a couple other sub menus for the St. Louis County Library. We've got a map, it'll get you your closest branch, and Facebook page, and a couple other things associated with that. And then also here you see about I guess that would be the fifth one down, is the St. Louis Public Library, which is our another major library system in the region. So mostly what I want to start off by showing you is going to be, or demonstrating for you, is starting with the St. Louis County Library homepage, is kind of branching out of there. I have a question maybe we can answer in the chat, and use the chat. Has anybody here used the library at any time, whether it be the previous catalog or our new catalog, to place holds, or to place holds, or to reserve items, or anything like that? If anybody has used the library website before. I know some people sign up for classes by calling up or anything like that. Oh, somebody has a hand. Oh, I see Scar has raised their hand to place reserves on anything. Has anybody else used the library catalog or the website to place holds and before, or has it been mostly just calling us up or asking in the branch to do that? See, SLCL training classes has raised their hands. So you may already be familiar with some of the uses of library. Of course, we have a new library system. So if you haven't placed a hold in the last couple of months, you're going to see a little bit different of a interface for you. So we'll get to the catalog in a second. But what I want to start off is just kind of showing the basic way to navigate the web page, kind of how it's laid out for you. Across the top, I have what I'm calling tabs. So that's going to be a lot of information to get you to the subsections of the website, the submenus of the website. We also have that single search bar, which I will get back to in a second. But across the top, we have books, e-media, and more, which is a lot of things. If you're looking for your classic library usage options, like books, different types of physical media, you would find that in the catalog. If you're looking for sort of more modern media, you would find that in e-media. So you can actually click that. You can also, instead of just hovering over, if you just click the tab, those same menus will be displayed out here on the left-hand side, on the left-hand column for you. And so you can see this first one, system upgrade and catalog merger. If we just hover over that same tab that we just clicked, we're going to have that show up here. Virtual branch is here. We hover over that. We're going to have the virtual branch as the second option. And of course, it's broken down into 3 columns here, but we have it in a single column here. And those subsections will be pulled out here, which is subsections of the menus are pulled out and below here in the not bold font. I'm going to head back to the home page. I like to call this, for a lot of interfaces I like showing people, I like to call it, if anybody's familiar with the Wizard of Oz and the Ruby Slippers, it's a no place like home. Instead of clicking it 3 times, you only need to click it once and it will take you back home. So if you get lost exploring this website, typically in the upper left-hand corner, the St. Louis County Library name and the logo will take you back to, and as you can see, hovered over home. So you get lost, you're going down a path and you don't know where to go. Actually, that's not the way to get back home. And you don't know where you are and you may want to get back. Just go to the top and click the top for your Ruby Slippers. No place like home. Does anybody have any questions about using about how we navigate tabs across the top for the website, for the St. Louis County Library website? Okay. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the e-media, and this is going to be the e-media tab. It contains all links and descriptions to St. Louis County Library's e-media resources. You can let's go and look over them. So we have one of the major resources that are used for people, for users, are Overdrive and Libby. You'll say, hey, this says Libby by Overdrive. Just realize that Overdrive and Libby effectively get you access to the same list of books. It's several thousand books in each one. Libby is an app that's designed for mobile devices, and Overdrive is basically, I like to call it a browser-based or a desktop-based version of Libby for you. Since most people carry their books with them in a mobile device, like a cell phone or a smartphone, a tablet, or an e-reader, Libby is oftentimes used a lot more often for that. But a lot of users like to use Overdrive. I'm going to open this up in a new tab. So just by clicking that, a lot of users like to use Overdrive to browse books. They find this interface really comfortable for them. You may find that comfortable for yourself. It's a real simple thing. You can search for authors. We get into e-media different sections, but if you're looking for an author, you can type in the author's name and it will show up here as author, and you can also see it shows up as titles here. So that's our option here. And so here we are back at home, St. Louis County Library. All right. So now you may have seen this right here, kind of in the middle of the page. It says start your search here. You may say, I'd love to search that. It is a great place to start searching. Um, it is what's sometimes referred to as a simple search bar. It's just a single search bar in which you can put terms in there, and you can search two different things. You can search the catalog and you can search the website. So let's look up um, the term that our department, my department, reference does often is we deal with a lot of small business resources, a lot of small business questions. So let's go and start by looking at the catalog, which we're going to get into a little bit more depth later, but I just want to use the search bar to show you what happens when you put in the phrase small business into the search and look for that. So this is going to take a look at what is our catalog. It's not going to look at the whole website. It's going to look at a particular section, a particular subsection that kind of takes us outside of the catalog and look at the listing for that. I'll go over more how to browse and search within the catalog, but we can see it's got information. It has the relevant keywords. So you've got sorted by relevancy, and you've got small business books here. Now I want to go back to the homepage. Now I mentioned going to that. This actually takes you back to the homepage of the catalog. In the catalog, if you click, you have to click homepage, gets you back to the homepage for the library system. Now I wanted to show you what it looks like to use this to search the St. Louis County Library website, which is going to be a little bit different option here. So my computer has remembered small business. I'm going to type it in again here. And we're going to go. Now what this does is it searches, instead of searching the catalog, it's going to search mentions of small business within the St. Louis County Library website. So here you can see one of the main things I like to point out that our department is focused on are these databases and websites, which a lot of these databases here deal with small business resources. So reference solutions allows you to look up businesses, Gale legal forms if you're in a business getting legal forms, or even for personal use, a lot of interesting things. And you can even click see more, and even in events, we've got anytime small business comes up here in events, you can see what the small business events are. So let's go ahead and hop in here and see what the events are. So here's all the events that pop up with the small business tag. All right, we're going to Ruby slippers this and go back to the home page. Does anybody have any questions about that? That start your search, the simple search bar there? Okay. So I'm kind of going across the tabs again. The next tab I want to point out is this using the library tab, and you can see a lot of options on there. I'm not going to spin the whole the whole program going over each option, but I want to point out some things if you're just getting started with the library about how you may want to use this, and some popular links that show up here. So one of the popular links is going to be under this personalized learning section. The library offers 3 options in-person kind of training. So this would be like a very focused on your personal needs as to what you might want to get out of resources in the library. We have Book a Genealogist, Book a Librarian, and Book a Trainer. Let's go and click on Book a Librarian. You're going to see something that's going to be similar between all of these. You'll see a description of what Book a Librarian is here. Reference librarians are available for one-on-one online appointments or by email to teach you how to use the library's electronic resources. This should be changing soon, and we have done a few in-person stuff ramping up here soon. That may change very soon on that. So if you're interested in booking a librarian and using a lot of stuff that's focused on here under the research section, you can book a time, and we will prepare a session for you and really get into the weeds of our resources for you for doing research for a paper or research for a a lot of stuff we're focused on is small business, job searches, and other options for that. So if you just go back in the using the library, you'll see the form is going to look very similar between book a trainer and book a genealogist. And each one of these departments have either they're located regionally, or they've got, so when you do what you need help with, they'll get somebody that's more of the expert than the other thing. We can't be experts on everything in each one of our departments, and some people really know certain resources well or certain research paths very well. Another option under using the library is the choice of e-courses. So library has a lot of resources we subscribe to, and these resources allow you to take courses in things you may not have taken courses for, and the courses are set up a lot of different ways. So I like to point out the courses, Gale Courses, Learning Express Library, and LinkedIn Learning. We're going to show off here. So I'm going to do a thing that's called opening in a new tab. You may have seen me do it before. If we just right click on that, which is on your mouse, there are two buttons. There's a left button and a right button. If you right click on a link, it gives you options on how to access that link. And so you can do a lot of things. And I'm going to open this up in a new tab. That way I keep this tab open, but it starts to log me in over here. And you can see across the top, and I'm going to use the word tabs a lot, but across the top, it links me through to a new tab. And here's the Gale Courses, and you can see all the major categories that Gale Courses have. But let's say you're interested in possibly going into writing and creative writing. You want to write that great American novel. They have courses, and they're usually, most of the Gale courses are broken down. Nearly all of them that I've seen are broken down into 24 one-hour courses that start on a date. Now, what Gale courses are is they have a effectively what would be called like a live instructor. You will be actively engaged with an instructor that will provide the course content that you will go through. And so you can choose, so you can enroll and you can choose the different starting dates. And you can even see, if you click on the course name, who the instructor is, what their quick resume for the instructor. If you're interested in seeing more details before you sign up, you can see the syllabus before the course. You can see if there's any type of requirements, and you can see there are user submitted reviews, which will allow you to look at what people said about the course and about the instructor. So, and over on the left are other things here. Of course, you can search for things. We mentioned business before. We'll just search business, and you can see courses associated with the keyword business. Now, the thing using a keyword search is you might get some what's called noise in here for what you're searching for, and so sometimes you may have to filter that down by either getting more specific or sometimes less specific if you're not getting enough. Let's look at what Learning Express Library is. Learning Express Library is a little bit more of a self-guided type of course. You'll have a course packet in which you'll guide yourself through for most of the courses. And it kind of covers more areas, some college test prep. Let's say you're in the job search. So you can use choices to build resumes, sign in and register, and you'll create an account in here. I have created an account before for several different things. There we are. And is it working? It does not seem to be. Oh, there we are. So you can sign in for courses. and it will take you through either resume builder or other options. This is mostly a little bit drier. A lot, I mean, there's some fun things in here, but a lot of focused on career and core skills building. And finally, it's kind of a deep course. There are video tutorials by professionals in a field. That's LinkedIn Learning. You may have known it as lynda.com previously, but it's been LinkedIn Learning for about a year. So options all the way from unconscious bias, and you can even browse courses by course type, technology, creativity. LinkedIn Learning, you're going to see a lot of a lot of it is focused heavily on tech learning, and so it will be tech learning, but you can, if you want to beef up on your Excel skills, this is a place to do that, whether you want to just hop into Excel or any kind of spreadsheet stuff, all the way up to getting to advanced like financial accounting skills in Excel. This is a great place to start. Sometimes a small criticism about this is sometimes the courses move a little bit too fast, but that is a small criticism, and it's recorded, and so you can back it up too. So does anybody have any questions about some of the e-courses? You can see some of the other ones right here, language courses and whatnot. Going to go to home. All right. So I want to point out some of the resources we have that you don't necessarily see pop up in the catalog when you're looking for them. And it's a lot of things that people use the library for research, if people are looking for primary sources or looking for news articles from the past. And that's options under what's called research. And that's going to be resources A to Z. So you could go, we could hover the research tab and go to resources A to Z. That will take you there to the resources A to Z, or you could, from the home page, just click on the research option and then go to resources A to Z. So those are different options to go. I use research resources A to Z if I know exactly what I'm looking for, but if I want to have a general idea of the kind of search I want to do and I don't know exactly what the library has, I want to look at options that are called, when you go on the research tab, it's called just for you. So we have broken down by 6 types of library users. We have the reader, the student, the do-it-yourselfer, historian, explorer, online learner, and business owner and investor. Under thing like online learning, you're going to see a lot of the same e-courses I just exhibited. But I'm going to kind of focus on the student, because the resource I want to show you is going to be the kind of your standard reference guide, and that's going to be an encyclopedia type of an online encyclopedia type of resource. So that's held under student. So if you're a student studying in all these areas, whether you're just a general researcher, whether you're a parent, or you're an elementary and middle school student, or a parent of a high school or a college student, of course, if you're a college student, hopefully you're doing your own research, or if you're interested in studying things in health and science and a quick type of reference, you'll see those here. So once again, to get to that, we have research. If you just go into research, into the student section, and you have your general type of users as well. Once again, broken down into tabs. And you're going to see, if you really get into the depth of this, you're going to see some of these repeated here, but some of these have a little bit higher, sort of more advanced search in depth, and like kind of focused on things such as peer-reviewed papers and the like. So here in the high school and college option is the online encyclopedia I mentioned before, and that is called World Book Advanced. So that is down at the bottom. Of course, each one of these resources, as I scroll down, you're going to see that this is listed in alphabetical order by the title of the resource. So since I'm looking for World Book Advanced, I will look at the bottom. Of course, if I didn't know I was looking for World Book Advanced, I want to kind of browse through here and read the descriptions of each one of the resources. If I already knew the name, I'd use that resources, that A to Z list, and go right to the alphabetical listing and scroll down until I found the name of the database. Now, when you find the database that matches that, you could click right there. If you are unfamiliar with using a database and you want to get caught up to speed, we do have tutorials on a lot of resources. Many of these tutorials are recorded by by people in your friendly reference department. Some of them are recorded by myself. Um, they are fun to do, and I hope people get to using that. But if you're already familiar with the resource, or you just want to dive right in and kind of be bold, just go and click on the name, and that takes you to the resource. Now, since I've signed in earlier, and you may have seen me sign in earlier, it's not asking me for my library card. When I click on one of these electronic resources, for most of them that the library pays for, um, you will need to enter your library card to log in, because these resources need to know that you're a St. Louis County Library card holder at whatever level you may be at. And then ask you for your library card and your PIN. Now we have in Worldbook, it's a basic encyclopedia, and so you can search back and forth. So they've got kind of introductory stuff, just kind of random articles that they kind of curate through the day. Or you can use Worldbook to search for a topic that you might find in any encyclopedia. So you could search for a country, or you could search for a health condition, or you could search for a term of an economic term. Let's search for a country. So here we can see the options, the encyclopedia articles that show up. So not only does it search for the country of Kenya, it searches for geographic locations within Kenya. It searches for cities in Kenya. It searches for anybody associated with Kenya. So Richard Leakey is a Kenyan paleontologist, and so on. So if you're looking for just the country, go and click on the name of the country, and you'll get a rundown of the country. Basic facts, in which you can get a tear sheet. You can print out a lot of options. This will have the table of contents here, and this pull down what's called sometimes the hamburger menu. They have different names for it. This is great for doing research, verified research on a topic. Now, Worldbook Advanced also has an advanced search option in which you can build a more advanced search. You can go through, if you want to learn how to build advanced searches and stuff, I would recommend the Book a Librarian option. I'm going to move on forward since we have a lot of other searching to do in the library. Covers to do in the library. So not only do we have library resources, one of the library resources that are offered are events and classes, which you may be familiar with if you've gotten to this course, if you've gotten to this program. So there's different event types. So that there is the events and classes has a tab drop down, so you can search directly to children programs. You can search directly Computer Club Tech Talks. So this kind of does the filtering for you. The one I took us to is kind of open, and it will show you all the programs available in the library that the library has listed as public programs, and other options that are out there too. So if there's keywords, so let's look up a word I've looked up before is senior, and anything with that has a keyword of senior in it, we can look for that. Let's see what we have show up here. So there's senior explorers. Let's say we want to search. Let's say we live near a branch, and we just kind of want to focus at a branch that we want to look at. We can see there's a drop-down option. So obviously the branch we're located at right now is a virtual branch, but as the libraries open up, we may see more and more programs programmed at branches. I'm going to look at a branch that's near me, Grand Glaze branch, and you can even add in more branches if you want. So if you're near that, we can look at Daniel Boone branch. You can also search near zip code. This will kind of tie into the branches based on a map search. Let's just look at programs available at these two branches. You can see the programs here and the branches they are at. Has anybody used this? You've likely used this to find this program, or you've been brought to this by somebody else. Has anybody used this before, or is interested in more of how to use this for the programs? So a lot of our popular events are author events, as authors go through. So you can even choose an event type. And you can look for author events. Did I click? Yes, I did click it. This will be just the author events here. When you click on the title, it will take you to more information about that. Now, some events are kind of a first come first serve option, and they will be displayed right there. And you may have registered for an event and gone through the registration process to get here. If you haven't and somebody else took you through, we could do. I'll show you just a little bit about what is if there's a registration tab. So you'll see some events will have a registration tab here, and I'm going to go ahead and click on this first one that comes up for this one. It's an event that's happening tomorrow. And so here you'll walk through, and it'll tell you how many spots are available. These spots are usually limited by the capacity of the room, or the capacity of the Zoom event, or the availability of technology that would be at the event, or sometimes if there's somebody providing it, they may offer us a cap on that. And so you'd enter your phone, your name, and your email, and you'll usually get an email back with a confirmation option, or with this one, as you got it, with a confirmation option and a Zoom link for the virtual events. I'm not going to go and register this because I don't want to fill it up. You can always deregister if you want, but they're really awesome. All these events are great. I'm going to go back across the top, and you can see that these tabs do remain the same no matter where we go. In here, these tabs are always here. So that lets you navigate to major parts of the website. Go in here. So I'm going to show a little bit about the kids section. I'm just going to go look here, and we can see what the kids section are. So in the kids section, so if you look at working with kids, these are individuals before teens, because we do have this teen section. You can see all the options we have that are associated with kids. So there's even the virtual branch stuff, after school meals, all the resources we have focused on kids with either that the library provides or the library hosts with partners. I'm going to show the teen section here. And also, so the teen section here, we even have teen programs, which will take us to the programs things and kind of be pre-programmed with just the teen programs. And you can always add more options if you're looking for the programs. All right. Now I'm going to move on to the catalog. It's the next major section I wanted to show to people is how to use the catalog. Some people may have used the catalog before. We have a brand new catalog, and just about everybody in the library system has had to learn the catalog over the past 2 months. It's been at this point to learn how to use the public-facing catalog and the catalog that we look at a lot of time. What I'm going to use is the catalog that shows up when you go here in the Books, eMedia, and More, and use the catalog button. Now, some people like using this classic catalog. For time's sake, I'm going to stay in the basic catalog. So once you get to the catalog, you get a nice large white screen that has the search option. So let's go and start to explore. Let's see if an item's ahead. Let's see if an item's in the library. I'm going to start by doing a search that I've kind of explored ahead of time, and that's called Make Ahead. Go figure. And I'm going to do a search for that, since that can be a lot of different things. So here's our search for Make Ahead, and what we have here. We can see that the first option is the Make Ahead Cook right here. On the right, we can see how it's sorted. We can change our sorting by the newest to the oldest. So if we're looking for new options, we can just look at new materials. or we can also search by newest, which will do that. New materials will kind of have a floor for us here if we do that. So let's do date newest. So you can see it doesn't really focus on relevancy. I was particularly, when I put in make ahead, I was looking for make ahead cookbooks. We can see make ahead. If we're looking for make ahead cookbooks, it doesn't really come out until our, what is this? Our one, two, our third, our fourth option here is our first cookbook, and that is even focused on make ahead. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to relevancy. Here we have make ahead cookbook. Now, with the Make Ahead cookbook, we can see a couple of information on this one here, and it's basic information. We can see it is an ebook available from Overdrive, and now we see there's a check mark next to it. This check mark, that tells us that this book is available for us to check out with Overdrive, or if you have Libby app on your phone, with Libby. You can actually check it out here, get it. But I'm going to have us place a hold on a book that's in the library system. So here we have a Make Ahead Cooking, which is a book that we may want to do that just kind of lets us go and make some plan out some meals for the week. We can see the check mark is here, that's on shelf at one or more locations, and it's at the St. Louis Public Library, the Central Branch. Well, I live out in Wildwood, and getting to the Central Branch today would be quite the drive. But I know I want to have that book, so I can actually go in here and I can place a hold on the book. Okay. And since I haven't logged in before, we can always log in ahead of time. But once you do place a hold, if you haven't logged in before, or if you try to do anything which personalizes your library use, it's going to want you to log in. The system will want you to log in so we can get the book to you and get it ready for you. You want to enter your library barcode, which is your library card number. It's going to be the one on the back of your library card. Always make sure you add the 2 zeros. They seem superfluous when you're counting or adding up, but for the system, they want to have those 2 zeros there. You want to enter your passcode, which was at one time called your PIN. So your PIN, your passcode, sometimes you'll see it referred to as your password on some of our databases. Will have different names. It will be your PIN. Whenever you put your library card number in, if it's associated with logging into a library thing and not necessarily a personal account, to get those separate, it's kind of complicated. You want to enter in your PIN. PINs were reset recently to the last 4 digits of the phone number the library has on file, or if there was no phone number, to 1234. If you have any questions, you can always give us a call up or chat with us or anything like that at the library. So here in the passcode, we enter that in, and we'll go and log in. And I said I wanted it held. I said I'm out here near the Daniel Boone branch, so I'll have it held at the Daniel Boone one. My home branch is headquarters because that's where I work, so I'm there often. If you want, you can set up a date. So if you wanted to do a make ahead and kind of make ahead for an event you're having, for a child's birthday, let's say, that's coming up or something like that, you maybe wanted to do that, and that birthday happens on the 22nd, so you don't need that book after the 22nd for your make ahead. So you can do that, and this option will automatically cancel that hold for you. So if that hold isn't available and doesn't come up, you don't have to worry about going in and canceling that hold, or getting an email on the 23rd that book is ready and worrying about that and having to go in and cancel it so it moves on to the next person, especially if it's a long line. So, but let's say we want to pick up something today at a library near us. So I entered in make ahead as my search here. So I want to look at things that are at the library. I want a physical book that I want to pick up here. So we have here, and then we have locations. So I mentioned Daniel Boone is a branch that's close to me. A branch that's also close to me would be the Samuel Sachs Sachs branch, I'm going to cast kind of a wider net, and I mentioned before the Grand Glaze. So I'm going to go and select those. And once I get those selected, they don't automatically update over here until I hit the Apply button in the lower left. So it's going to apply those options here for you. So here's a Make Ahead Vegan Cookbook, and we can see it's checked here, and we can see it's available here at the Daniel Boone branch, also at the Samuel Sachs branch, and at the Schlafly branch. Now that little X next to the St. Louis County, the Florissant Library branch, that tells us that that one that calls, that book that calls the Florissant Valley branch home is checked out. Of course, you can always place a hold and make that book at whatever branch you'd like it to make at in the two library systems of county or St. Louis Public Library. So here we can see, now we see that it's at the St. Louis County Daniel Boone branch, but we don't know where it is. This is something I had to learn myself in this interface, is where to find it and where to find the information about it. So if you click on the branch's name, it will show up here. It will have a call number. Now this call number will be generally the same from branch to branch, but you can see we're already seeing some difference between these here. So shelf location open stacks, shelf location open stacks. So those are generally the general shelves here. And then let's see, they've got 641. So you will begin to see some differences in these call numbers, especially between library systems. But let's say I want to go just up the street to the Daniel Boone branch and find that, I can write that down. Or if I'm in the branch and want to pick up this book, I can do that, write this number down, and go to the shelf and find that. Now, how might I find that? If I write down that number, so that's at 641-5636, and I go over here and I can search what are called the finding ranges that should be at the edge of every shelf. Now on these shelves, we're going to have the Dewey Decimal number. And we can go along until we find that number, 641 and 641 to 645. Now this number is a 641 number, so it's going to be, for based on this sign, it's going to be either on this side, on our left side, or on our right side. So we can go down this section and we can begin to use what's called the cutter numbers. These are the last, those are those 4 digits there, and sometimes even these other extended cutters here for you to find that. And those are based numerically and then alphanumerically for those there. And that will find us the book on the shelf, and we can pick it up and take it to our circulation desk or the self-checkout counter at your preferred branch there. Now I've gone through a lot of information, and doing virtual programs are sometimes hard because I can sometimes, when I'm in person, I can look at people's faces and see where somebody might be lost. I'm going to go and slow down here. If anybody has a question, please come forward with that question. I'm happy to take questions right now. It's a lot of information that I'm going through here. I'm trying to keep it as basic as possible, but all right. So now let's look at some details of another book. So we've looked at the basic options of just kind of scrolling through books in a theme that we have. Let's say we want to start to look for a series. We're reading in a series, or we got a series we're really interested in, or a friend of ours said, you have to read this series. So I'm going to look at an author that has several different series. He's a popular, a best-selling author. So James Patterson is what I'm going to look at. So we'll look at James Patterson. So view the person, James Patterson. I'm going to do just this, just so we can see what happens out if you just type out the name here. So here we have, sort of by relevancy, we have what looks like a biography, James Patterson by James Patterson, but it is a autobiography, so it has his name here, but we can also see the name of the authors here, James Patterson, 1947. Now, let's not get too complicated. When you see a date next to it, a name, that means it's kind of controlled to that particular author, and you know that author there, because some authors have kind of overlapping options. overlap. Some people share the same names, as you might know, and so that even comes into the case of the author. So that allows you to find that there. So if you just click on the name of the author's name, we can see under James Patterson, the James Patterson that was born in 1947. You can see both the library systems, this would be the St. Louis County Library System and the St. Louis Public Library System, have 441 resources. Let's go and click on that. See all the resources here. Oh, there are lots of resources. So there's lots of books. James Patterson puts his names on things. He has other authors join in with him. Let's look at this particular book, The Ninth Judgment. Somebody asked, maybe said about that. Let's look at that. I can see in the listing, this detailed listing for Ninth Judgment, we can see the thing I've already pointed out was the author. You also see it's part of the Women's Murder Club. So the Women's Murder Club is a series of books that James Patterson has. He also has several different series of books. Let's go ahead and click on just the Women's Murder Club and see what happens when we do that. Voila. So the Women's Murder Club has just the books in that series. So we begin to get the books in the series on that. So if somebody mentioned to you, I love the Women's Murder Club series, you can look up these books and see the list here. Now it's a little bit out of order. So let's actually sort by oldest and see what we have here. So voila. Oh, actually, it's the 10th page. It's the 10th listing. And so wouldn't you know it, it had number 10. So if you may have seen that across the bottom, I was on page 2 for that search. I want to go to page 1 and start with the first one where we have First to Die. So if you want to start on that, there it is. And you can see it's available in the book. It's available in ebook, and all of these are checked out from Overdrive. Books available. The e-audiobook is checked out. Of course, we can always place that hold. And the audiobook is available. So the audiobook would be a book on CD, typically. On CD. I don't know if there's any playaways that are listed here. And also we have the large print of some of these, not large print in all of these. So if you've been, if you're placing something on hold, we'll look at this one that is that's checked out. You can see it's checked out. So there's one book checked out. You should be able to. Okay, so there looks like there's all 9 copies are checked out, but there's no holds. So if you place the book hold on this ebook through Overdrive, you would be the moment that somebody's hold expire or that somebody's checkout period expires, that book will become available to you in Overdrive and Libby. Does anybody have any questions about searching for a series? All right, excellent. Now, let's say we want to, another popular one, let's say we want to find movies based on an author's work. This is just an exercise. There's a lot of things you can do with the catalog. I'm going to, if there's time, I'm going to look for movies based on the works of John Grisham. So let's look up just the word John Grisham. And let's actually look up all. So the John Grisham, it was set to just author before because I had went into the James Patterson thing. I'm learning this database myself, and I had ran this before. So John Grisham, searching in the all option, or even you could probably do concept as well. That might be some criticism. If you want to look up movies from him, if you just do John Grisham, or not necessarily from him, but based on his works, you can do in the more formats. If you go into DVD and you hit apply, there are movies based on the works of John Grisham. As you can see here. So for instance, The Client. course, you can always place that hold on that. All right. Well, I had placed a, oh, yes, I want to show us how to, a lot of people are interested in new releases and what's come out new. And so I want to show you how to do that. We've had to do some setting up and some based on the learning curve with this new system. But here under Books, eMedia, and More, if we hover over this tab, or if we click on it, so if we hover over it, we'll see new and featured titles. Of course, if we click on it, that's going to show up here, new and featured titles. And we have, using the catalog, we have kind of set up some predefined links that will search for new and on order titles. So if you're looking for something new fiction, just go and click on the new fiction, and that will take us to a section of the catalog that looks a little different. This is the what's called the classic catalog that is set up with a search already structured to just have new releases, new fiction here for you. So that's a way you can begin to browse new titles for you. That was a service that kind of disappeared for a while and now is returned in a very nice way. And it has some preset searches, the AFI Top 100 movies over the 100 movies in 100 years of cinema, and all different types of options here for you. Some reading lists like Reese's Book Club and other stuff like that. Black Lives Matter list, kinds of options. All right. Oh, so I was going to show you the option of using Mobius. So I'm going to actually go here in Books, eMedia, and More as Mobius. Now, what the library has is what's that's kind of sometimes referred to as a union catalog, but that's kind of jargon. We have the option as a library card for most library card holders that you can pull books out from libraries around the Midwest out to the Mountain West. So here, if we go back to catalog and we're looking for a book that somebody told us about, that is an interesting thing. And we see, well, somebody said this book was a title, and why doesn't the library have this? Aha. We can go and hop in and we can search Mobius, which is that larger, broader catalog. So we do search Mobius, it's going to take us out, and we can see that's opened up in a new tab, and it's searched here. And Censor 2018, they were talking about Censor 2018, Press Freedoms in a Post-Truth World, the top censored stories and media analysis of 2016 and 2017. Here we are, and it shows up in the Mobius, and we can see, if we click on that, you can see that it says at Northwest Missouri State University, which is, I believe, up in north of Kansas City. But that doesn't matter. We can go and place a request for it. I'm not going to place a request for it as I did with the other one, because it sort of may set a whole chain of events that I don't want to start happening here. But you can go and place a request for it. And first you need to choose the library where you are located at. I'm going to go up to the last moment here. And you are the St. Louis County Library, hopefully. And you'd enter your last name and your barcode, and you choose your pickup location. That's where you'd like it picked up, and then you'd hit submit. I'm going to close that out and stop there on that. Now, I had placed a hold before, and I don't want people to take action on it. Now you can see I'm still logged in here in the upper right-hand corner. If I hit here, we can see our holds are right there. I'm going to click on my holds. We can see it's waiting here, and so I can do options. I can either freeze the hold, which will mean my place in line will be held until I unfreeze the hold. But what I want to do right now is I want to cancel this hold, so nobody at any one of the branches at that branch at this one was at the central branch in downtown. So nobody starts to make a movement on that, pull off the shelf, put it on the car, put it on a truck, and get it out to Daniel Boone. I'm just going to go and cancel that, and we'll cancel that hold. And now I have 0 holds, and I can also view my checkouts, any fines or fees I may have, or anything like that. I'm going to go and log out of here and return here. All right, we have about 4 minutes left. Does anybody have any questions as we go on? Covered a lot of information, and I know it's complicated. All right. I'm going to go ahead and, if there's no questions popping up immediately, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.